Throughout this landscape of lunacy right now, we're being told in every inch of society that obesity is a disease. It's a disease. Damn it, it's a disease. And this doctor here says it's a brain disease. It's an oldie, but a goodie. Let's watch.
It's a brain disease.
It is?
It's a brain disease. And the brain tells us how much to eat and how much to store.
Dr. Fatima Cody.
Now that's not exactly untrue, right? Because to some degree, what you consume and eat is a way of your brain telling you that you're hungry or not hungry, right? I get it. And that is quite true. Some people feel more hungry than others, majority of the time. But, well, let's
Stanford,
continue.
an obesity doctor at Mass General Hospital, an associate professor at Harvard Medical School, says common beliefs about obesity are all wrong.
It is your turn to get on that scale.
And diet shows, like The Biggest Loser,
You lost 128
Well done.
pounds.
are snookering people.
If you diet, you lose weight, right?
For many of us, we can go on a diet, something like The Biggest Loser, right? You go and you restrict people, you make them work out for 10 hours a day, and then you feed them 500 calories.
No one's working out for 10 hours a day and no one's eating 500 calories. Now, I know she's trying to do that to be obscure about it, but it's to try to reinforce her point more of the kind of body positivity look where it's like, this is not realistic, you know, training 10 hours a day on 500 calories. No one is training 10 hours a day. Not even pro bodybuilders are training 10 hours a day on 500 calories, even on the last day of prep.
For most people, they will acutely lose weight. But 90...
For all people. Apart from that small percentile of people that might have a thyroid problem or some sort of medical condition, that will literally work. If you decided to train 10 hours a day and then 500 calories, you'll lose weight.
6% of those participants in The Biggest Loser regained their weight because
They regain their weight. So you shouldn't be taking the approach of going, see, they regained the weight, so it's a brain disease. It's a disease. More of a disorder. I would argue it's more of an eating disorder. And the reason why this kind of brain disease thing, it's like, this is only a unique problem to the West, right? This is a unique problem to the first world. That's it. You don't really see these levels in the third world. Why? Because they don't have the resources to overconsume and overeat. Do you think there's someone in a hut somewhere in the third world with only a bag of rice in them going, oh, I want to kill myself? Why? Because I just feel like I need to consume 20 hamburgers. That's not happening. It's a unique problem to the first world, to the West. We've created this issue. In fact, in some ways you could say it's like a social contagion, like anorexia, bulimia. You know, you're kind of taking this kind of, it's not exactly the same, but you're taking this lifestyle routine on from maybe when you were a kid, or the abundance of fast food, or poor lifestyles, or also the overconsumption of technology now as well, because technology's made it easy and easier that we don't really need to work for ourselves and do things for ourselves anymore. So, you know, even the invention of the remote is something ridiculous as like that. The idea behind the remote is so you didn't have to get up and change the channel. You could sit on your ass and hit the button. It's these kind of characteristics and changes to society that's forcing humans to become more adaptive to just sitting down, basically.
brain worked well. It was supposed to bring them back to store what they needed or what the brain thinks it needs.
So willpower?
Throw that out the window.
That is a load of shit. Load of shit. And this is my point I always make about that. So this person's a doctor. Oh, by the way, if you want to know a fun fact about Dr. Fatima Cody Stanford, she is also funded by Big Pharma, who also sells the Ozempic and fat loss drugs. Who would have thought? Now, this is something that we all need to accept and take on board. Just because someone has a doctor to their name and is an associate professor and whatever other titles you want to put, doesn't mean that they're always correct. And it doesn't mean that you need to submit to their arguments just because they say so. That is fundamentally incorrect. Willpower is a point. And I will make that point quite clearly. People that is dating for a photo shoot, people that is dating for a stage, preps, for example, going on stage. I'll tell you right now, see my last 4 weeks, or even see the last 12 weeks of that prep. All I thought about was food. It was constantly, I would see someone walking down the street and all I would see is a little box of Rice Krispies on legs, because Rice Krispies were the next meal. That's all I seen. But it was required willpower not to do that. You see, there's a big difference with someone having a plate in front of them and then continue to eat. Now, what we do as humans now is we don't eat until the hunger sensations have stopped. We eat until we are full. That's not the way to eat. You eat until the sensation of hunger is gone. You don't eat until you're abnormally stuffed and full, and that's how people eat. And that's been a shift in how humans operate, which has caused this problem in the first place. So yes, it is willpower. It absolutely is willpower. There's no doubt about that. And this idea that she's putting this going, well, you see, they gained it back, so it's a brain disease. They gained it back probably because, yet again, you didn't tackle the core reason of why they're like that. It's a lifestyle change. That's why. You know, you put someone through a ridiculous regime of fitness, 9 times out of 10 most people do go back to square one. That's because it wasn't sustainable in the first place, and you haven't tackled the main issues that they view around food in the first place. And society.
My last patient that I saw today was a young woman who's 39, who struggles with severe obesity. She's been working out 5 to 6 times a week, consistently. She's eating very little. Her brain is defending a certain set point.
A set point, says Dr. Stanford, is a range of weight your brain is in charge of maintaining by controlling how much food you eat and how much of it you store. One theory is that it's an evolutionary survival mechanism that helped retain fat during famines.
So we had COVID.
Theory, by the way.
Lots and lots
And
of
again,
people.
theory. And then this is the whole thing. A study comes out that's a study that can't be replicated, or a theory. And then people latch onto that quickly and say, oh, that's scientific then. There you go. It's a theory and that was a study. Just because a study comes out doesn't mean it's right. And just because a theory is insinuated doesn't mean it's right either.
People gain weight. Do those people have a new set point that's higher now?
Absolutely. So when you have a chronic stressor and you get to a certain weight and maintain that weight for, let's say, at least 3 to 6 months, then you recalibrate that set point to a different set point.
Yeah. Again, it's complete nonsense. It's a subtle thing. And the reason why these people do not want to say that is because scientists are not, they think they're now trying to operate within the confined rules of a game of stigmas. They don't want to upset or create stigmas. Science, that's not science's responsibility or role. Science is meant to produce the data outputs, the replication that they can on studies, and the findings and the evidence, and then the quote-unquote facts. It's up to us, policymakers and humans and culture, how we see that and how we fit that into some sort of equality measure or some sort of, you know, accepting measurement and not come across as some sort of knobhead when you come to insulting people, right? Problem is, science now has tried to implement into the game of stigmas. They don't want to upset people. And that's why she's doing this. In fact, saying, you know, the glaring, this is the thing. Every coach, every PT, every person out there has done it. They've struggled with weight, they've reduced calories, they've exercised more, they've lost weight. So we don't need some scientists to tell us to our face that, oh, it's actually a bit more complicated than that. Literally, I have performed the experiment myself. I have performed the experiment on others. I get the exact same findings and output every time. Apart from that small percentile of people, which is so minuscule, that may have some sort of metabolism or thyroid problem, it works the same way. So my point of this video is, don't always submit to those in authoritative positions or titles, thinking that they're better than you or they know more, because sometimes our own senses and observations are usually the right ones. Anyway, if you like the video, please don't forget to like and subscribe. I've got tons of other videos over in the channel about fitness, training, nutrition, and other opinionated things like this. Anyway, I'll see you next time.